Hi knitters, welcome to PJKnits. My name's Penny, I live in Central Illinois, and I'm a knitter, a blogger, a podcaster, and an Instagrammer. Welcome to my little knitting journal. Welcome back if you've been coming for quite some time, and welcome to new members who may be finding us. I'm going to just ask right from the onset if you would please subscribe to this video. We're 15 away from 1,000. No big deal, but it would be kind of fun so I could tell the grandkids, right, when they're older and can do YouTube. So anyway, welcome. Today is Monday, June 16th in Central Illinois, and we are, for lack of a better phrase, we are bringing in summer hot. We are kicking it off officially. It doesn't really start. Summer officially starts this Friday and goes through September 22nd. And as you all know, when I knit, I try to knit ahead of the season, but there are some patterns out there, a couple of things. There are some patterns out there that I just couldn't, I had to cast on, and I keep saying this is going to be the last one, but they've been so much fun. So I am already thinking about kind of sort of fall, and that's another episode down the road. So we won't dwell on that too terribly long, but here in Central Illinois, it's going to get hot. It's warm now. We're going to get some rain the next few days. And after that, it's going to be typical, Illinois summer at 90 degrees. So I will be staying in the air conditioning, and I can knit on wool in the air. I'm okay with that. So, but I also will spend some time out on the porch, which I have been able to do. This morning I was out doing something I detest, right up there with painting rooms, weeding, and so got a little bit of that done and was sweating a little bit, but that's okay, right? So anyway, kick back, please grab a cuppa and your knitting. This one is from our trip to Florida to Destin, and this is my first Starbucks mug that I've got, but I had to kind of commemorate one of that two things there on our trip. So definitely kicking off the summer, and we love Destin, and this last year was our second year, and we're going to go back next year. Don't know when, March or April. Each year we move it down a little bit more to get a little bit more warmth, but we'll see what happens. So grab your knitting, grab a cuppa, and let's talk some knitting. Tastes good. So let's get started. I wanted to give you an update on the Makers Meetup, just to let you know that we have over 80 people, nearing 85 people, who will be coming at the end of July to Hoffman Estates. And we would love it if you would come as well. And just give us a shout out, let us know that you're coming. No registration. It's a free event except for your hotel. And if you're local, then it's totally free for you. But for those of you who are still looking for I assume a handicap accessible type room, or accessible rooms, mainly they're on the first floor, I believe. Those are showing up on the website that they're no longer available for that time period. So if that is something that you need, you might want to reach out to the hotel via phone and just see if they have other spaces available or a lower floor. So we wanted to let you know for that. And then next up, before we get going too far, I'm going to announce the winner of our bag from last episode. And this goes out to on the front, Linda Nixon, who is Linda Nixon -WS4GE, and Linda lives in Maine. And you know what? I've never been to Maine, but I can only imagine how beautiful it is out there. I've never been out on that East Coast. I've been to New York. I've been to New York City for work many years ago, a lot, but I've never made it to Maine or Vermont, to the New England, and I think that would be fun to do sometime, spend a couple of weeks at a good time of weather. So Linda, at some point in time, you might have to let me know what the good weather is and when to come and where to stay, because I think that would be fun. So Linda, if you will get in touch with me of all the various places via You can DM me Instagram. There's an email address that everything will be down in the description box in the next couple of days. You could email me with your, I assume that is your full name and your address, and I'll get your bag out to you pretty soon. And also to kick off, I don't have the bag with me, but we will be doing another prize bag for next episode in honor of summer really starting. And really what I want to know is just comment below and tell me what your summer plans are. Do you go out and take long vacations somewhere cool, somewhere hot? Do you, like we did when I was a kid, we spent all of my summers up in Minnesota in the Nevis area, up north, Bemidji, Nevis, Park Rapids. I would love to get back there. We stayed in some cabins on a lake and fished and swam, and I spent a lot of my years, and we even went back and took our kids when my parents were still alive, and my aunt and uncle, and that was so much fun to be out on the lake and with my brother and my nephew and his wife. So it was fun, and so I'd love to know if you go, what your vacation plans are for the summer. Maybe tell me what your knitting plans are, you know, what kind of sweaters you're knitting for the summer, or if you do summer of shawls, where you just do summer, knit some nice shawls to wear in air conditioning or whatever. So just give me a shout out. Let me know a couple of things, more things about you for sure. My summer plans, as far as I'm concerned, my summer plans are the Makers Meetup at the end of July, and then my son is getting married at the end of August, and then I have things planned for this fall. So, and there will be, I have to go to I'm watching my youngest grandson play t-ball on Saturdays. That is so much fun. Love it. And I'm going to watch him this Saturday while parents are gone a little bit. We'll have tea parties, or he'll give me coffee and in the dishes, and we'll play games, and we'll go outside and hopefully have breakfast on Sunday morning on the front porch. So I have that, and I just have, you know, grandkids kinds of things and fun things like that going on for the summer. And before you know, it will be September and it will be fall. So anyway, all right, let's get started. Let's get moving. I have lots of things I want to tell you about, interestingly enough. First up, I have some finished objects, believe it or not. And I'm on this, I watch Leslie Friend. I love her aesthetic. I've talked about her before, and she enables me to go simple sometimes. And she was talking on her last episode about dishcloths, washcloths that she had made, and it was a recipe from her mom. So, of course, I had some yarn in my PYS, and so I pulled it out, and I knit a couple of dishcloths using her recipe, her mom's recipe, because I still have one that I have that was typed up on a piece of paper from years ago that I mostly use. All of a sudden, even before Leslie was talking about these, I had, I don't know, about a half dozen that I have knit and put in my my linen closet, but never pulled out. And so a few weeks ago, I pulled them out and started using them. I love these. I love using these. And so I decided I'm going to keep making some dishcloths. And so here are the two that I have completed using her pattern, using her mom's pattern. And the fun thing about this that I want to talk to you about from my notes from my journal is that, let's see, this one, I started on the 2nd of June and worked a little bit on it and finished it the next day on 6/3. I used a size 8 needle. Leslie uses a 6, and I might try going smaller. What I'm going to do after this podcast is over with, I'm going to use this, and then I'm going to see how large it gets, and then I'll know whether I want to, you know, continue making more on my 8, or if I want to drop down a little bit. Easy peasy. This one is, both of these are from the Queensland collection, Coastal Cotton. They're Coral Reef. And I want to share something about the Coral Reef with you in just a sec. This one is Moon Jelly, which I love. And then this one, the second one, I decided to do another one last week on Zoom. I wanted to I was in between some things, or didn't want to have to pay attention right, while I was on Zoom. And so I knit a dishcloth. I started it in the afternoon and finished it that night before I went to bed. And this is also out of that yarn. And I bought both of these from my local yarn shop, Fiber Universe. And this one is also coastal cotton, but I don't know what the colorway is. I have lost the band somewhere, and I have to figure that out. So I'm going to try both of those out and see if they're okay on the size 8, or if I want to go down maybe to a 6. And I know it's a little mushy, squishy, whatever. And so I may follow suit, see how much it grows, because this for my hand is a perfect size for doing dishes. So I'm in this dishcloth making mode, and I have a couple of pages earmarked in my journal for future ones. They're just fun to just kind of do every once in a while. And if you have a cool yarn or not, I have a lot of cotton yarns in my PYS that I can pull out. So I wanted to share, that was my kind of my first one. And then next one that I have to show you is my Musselburgh, and this one, grab it, is from, let's stop and talk about this, Penny, because it's from Artistic Yarn by Abby. And this is the Monopoly one. This is the one, she makes all of these according to different things. You know, she's got fruit stripe gum, she's got games, she's got a birthday cake. They're just so much fun. And really, when you do this in a sock, you get this, the stripes are much closer together, and you get the semblance again of Musselburgh Monopoly game. I just keep thinking to myself, have I shown you guys this before? I don't think so, because I think I finished it in between. But and unusual for me, that one is, let's see, give me a sec. It's unusual for me not to have this tabbed, which I'm like concerned that I did not, which is very interesting. I know I just started it, right? After Vertices, after that. Oh, yes, Musselburgh number 8. I have not shown it to you. This was Artistic Yarn by Abby again, Monopoly. And I cast on this one. All my other ones were the adult medium because they're for me, but I thought this is going to be going into the charity pile. And so I thought maybe I'd give a whirl to the adult large. So this is an adult large and a little bit looser gauge. But when you have this that you double up into the crown, it's not as loose. And so it is a little loose on my head, but this is the adult large. And again, all of mine are on a size 4 needle. That's what I kind of like the gauge for. I start off using flexi flips in that to get the cast on, and then I go right to double points because I'm a double point person. The skein is 460 yards, probably 100 grams. Yeah, 100 grams. Yes, 100 gram ball. And on this particular one, I kept going and going. And I was a little worried I wouldn't have enough, that I was going to have to back it out when I started the decreases. But I used 96 grams on it. So perfectly enough yarn for sure, left over. And so here we go. And I really do like this one. I think it's very, and I've talked about that last time, it's very reggae looking. So I think, I hope somebody will like this. But you can see it's quite large on me, but still okay. I love it. I love it. I'm glad it's done. This is, as I said, this was Musselburgh number 8. Number 7, I'll show you. Number 7 is here. This is out of Emma's Yarn. And it's on the needles, and I'm working on it as well right now. And this is where we were last time. So this is Emma's Yarn. This one is for me. I have made a cowl to go with it, and I hope to have enough to do some knits when I'm done. So again, this is one that's a good Zoom project. And when I'm on a Zoom or take it to my local yarn shop if I'm working on something. So this is number 7. It has been in the car for a while, but I brought it in because I want to get back to where the numbers are right, 7, 8. So I want to finish this one and then start 9 and put something in the car. I like to have this as a go-to project. So that is number 7 and number 8 going there. And then the next finished object that I have to show you is my Vertices Unite number 2. If you remember, the first one I showed quite some time ago, it was in the blues and taupes and really blue jeany, very blue jean coordinated with. And I love it, but I really wanted a bright one, and I wanted to use up some of my gift yarns that I had in my PYS. And so I cast on another one on March 10th and finished this on June 11th. There was no hurry on it for sure, but the thing about this pattern is I love this. I love that it uses a lot of yarn, number 1. Number 2, it was fun to do, but now I'm over it. Now I'm done with it. This was part of our Unite Cal that PJKnits put on. We had a Zoom January 1st afternoon, and it was a Unite Cal. There's still time for you to participate. That you can knit Vertices Unite, which is what I used, or you can use Textures Unite, or you can do as some have done and go rogue. And just as part of the Unite Cal, we wanted to all be together and cast on. And so again, this is Vertices Unite by Stephen West. And that was mine. And so here is my finished. I am loving this. Took pictures out on the porch this morning. And I'm just going to show it. I'm going to put it up in front of my face and stop talking for a moment. Now, some of these are gift yarns. Some are yarns that I had accumulated in my PYS over time. And so I'm going to just share some information with you. I did the size large. This is the second size large that I did. And the color, and I did it on a size 4 needle. It required using a lot of needles for sure when you had to put them on hold and then do this I-cord all the way around. And I want to say the I-cord took me a couple of days. I did it mostly during Zooms. I did a little bit here at night. So it was no rush, but I was certainly glad to be done with it when I was done with it. So just to give you another close look here. And we're going to talk about the yarns. First of all, this one here, let's do this. It's a coordination here. The first section here was the color A was Vivid Yarn Studio, which is Julia Strangeland. And I've had that yarn since 2016, 2019, somewhere in there when I first heard about her, probably through the Grocery Girls. And that is in Raspberry. 2016, that's when I got that. That's what my notes here. And the secondary color here, the blue, is from Sun Valley Fibers. It's their MCN in Dreamy. And this was from January Thaw 2018. We got to choose yarn as part of our goodie bag. And so I chose this blue and bought a secondary one. The C, which is this one here, the yellow one, this was a gift yarn from my friend Becky for one of my birthdays or Christmas sometime back. And this is Lahala. Lahala? Help me out, Candy. Lahala? Somebody. Or La Jolla. I'm not sure. I should have checked that. Apologies for not doing that right, not doing correctly pronunciation, because I'm all about pronunciation and using the right word at the right time and making sure that it's spelled correctly. 3 things you didn't know about me till now. But anyway, this is the California Coast, and this was gift yarn, and this was 100% superwash merino. And then the next one was a gift at last year, 2 years ago at the Makers Meetup. No longer, I don't think she's dying anymore, but this is really, I wanted to use this in my, this was like the starting point is, I knew that I wanted to use this in my Vertices Unite, but I knew that I didn't know where I wanted to use it. I knew I wanted to showcase just it. So here is that yarn. And then I went to PYS again. I was torn to, at that point, I had auditioned several colorways for this. It was getting a little difficult because I wanted to stay in the bright. And so I came out with PYS in my yarn. And this one is a tonal orange that was in the ZK goodie bag from way back when. So this was one that I got there. Let me get rid of that. And then finally, figuring out what I was going to do next. This one here was a yarn that a friend had some leftovers and gave to me, and I thought this perfectly would tie into all that. And this is from Apple Fiber Studio. And then finally, when I was all done, I went back for my border and I used that Dreamy again all the way around because I knew that I wanted to tie that color in. And so I'll try and kind of give you the show here of what it looks like. I'll have pictures on Instagram and on my project page, always under PJKnits 1. You will see on Ravelry all of my projects. And so I'll have all the information and some photos in a couple of days as well, because I just took those this morning. So here we go. I'm going to cover the face so you can see the whole effect. I hope. And again, I took some video this morning out on the front porch and all of that. So that is my second Vertices Unite, and I am totally, I'm done with it. I'm done. And this particular knit along will end at the end of July, the last weekend. And if you are coming to the Makers Meetup, I would love for you to bring your Vertices Unite, and let's get a picture of us with that. There's going to be a lot of potential pictures out there and about for sure. So I hope that you will show those and come and participate. Again, like I said, there is still plenty of time. Intermission break. Take a sip, stand up, hydrate, as James would say. All righty. Okay, let's get into whips. Last time I said I liked the idea of worn, working on right now, and I've decided I've coined a new one. KORN, K-O-R-N, KORN, knitting on right now. And this is kind of like a method to my madness that I want to tell you about, because if you know me and you've been around the Zooms and other things, you'll know that I have a lot of whips. I sometimes have, excuse me, I sometimes have trouble focusing on one particular thing, which gets me into trouble because I get off my timeline and then all of a sudden, ouch, I need to have that thing already knit, and I don't, or I don't have enough time, and so I have to punt. And I dislike intensely doing that. So what I decided to do, and it's been on my mind for some time, because it's an issue. I don't like that not completing things. It's like the forever knit. It's like, come on, either fish or cut bait. And so I have problems cutting bait a lot of times on old whips. And so it's like, focus on what you need to be done. So what I did, been ruminating in my mind for some time. I finally sat down. I love Sundays. When I worked on Sundays, that was my day to wrap my my brain around what I had to do at work, what I had to do outside of work, what I would like to accomplish in my knitting. It kind of like was my planning at home day before I actually went to work. And so I kind of kept that going. And so yesterday I decided to make a list of things that I need to concentrate. I have them in my journal on a monthly page, but I wanted to put them on a piece of paper that was in front of me all the time at my knitting place here, my happy place. Make a list, put them out there on the table so I can look at them and say, why are you going this way when you should be going this way? So I made some lists of things that I want to accomplish, and in order of what they need timeline to be accomplished. And so I want to share those with you. My first one I've already shared with you is my Musselburgh number 7. I want to get that done. That's high on the list. Knit on it as much as possible, whenever possible, to get it done. And all of my things that I have that I want to knit on right now are easily taken places. But I also try and marry up my projects to where I'm going, what I'm doing. And so Musselburgh is usually one that sits in the car, but I also use it, when I'm on the phone with long conversations or I'm waiting on hold or whatever, because you can put it down or whatever. And again, when I go to Iowa. Now, I tried taking Musselburgh to the T-ball game. It's not working. That just doesn't happen. This Mama Penny has to get up and encourage from her seat. So there is like no knitting happening there. And it's so much fun to watch. So anyway, Musselburgh number 7 is on the top of my list. Secondary, and there's a method to my madness. I talked about the half and half triangles wrapped. I have knit several of those. It's a Purl Sew pattern, and I've had this one on the needle for quite some time. This one has a time frame, a duo time frame for me on it. It is going to be for me. It is going to be for, I think, a trip I'm taking. And which is not till the fall, so there's plenty of time. But my method in this, putting this next up, or in addition to the Musselburgh, kind of going back and forth between each one of them, is because I know that Purl Sew always has usually a sale around the holiday, and the 4th of July is coming up. So I would like to have the first half of the triangle wrap done. Now, I have yarn for the second half, but I have made some modifications to mine, and so I want to see if 3 skeins are sufficient for the first half, because if 3 skeins are sufficient, then I don't have to order any yarn when they have their sale. But if it's not, I'm going to need an extra kettle black, and then I'm going to have to choose a secondary color, because I'm sure that the one that I have is no longer available. So this has been my early morning porch knitting project. But I have to say, yesterday, after I made my list, I was like, let's just knit on this all day long. I felt, after completing some things and thinking about some other knits that I had been doing this week, that I just kind of needed just a back and forth and just do some knitting on it. So when last you all saw, this is where I was at. And it is a slow go. This was like some of this was knitting on the porch, because that's what I'm trying to do, is knit on this first thing early in the morning out on the porch. And then, but yesterday this was inside knitting. So I don't know that I'm even halfway that first section. I am on my second ball, and I have one more ball. So this is my second ball. So I have a lot to go for sure. But I added stitches to this. That's what I did originally. So, and this is in the kettle black. So that is secondary on my list, and it is one of those KORN. So I am working on that. Third, I have on my list Norma's socks. I have nothing more to report on those, but I'd like to get those done, because I'd like to recast on for a new pair of socks for the fall trip. So I have that. And then next up, I am working on Amber. I showed the pattern. This is by Cheryl Mokhtari. It was in the spring, this spring 25 Lina magazine. I showed it last time. And the yarn that I'm using is from my local yarn shop. It is a Fiber Spades Cumulus, which is an alpaca and silk, which I love this yarn. And Sheepgee's or Organicon, this is 100% cotton. I had never used this before. I use the Cumulus, which is a Surrey alpaca mulberry silk yarn. I've used this before in a lot of things, and I love this. I love using this in a lot of sweaters, partly because it gives me an opportunity to buy from my local yarn shop and use something that I'm comfortable with. So this is the yarn that I am using, and from the last time that we were together here with my little marker, this is the back. I am loving this. I am now split, so it's back and forth, back and forth. This, as I've told on the podcast before, this is my Fiber Universe project. Bought the yarn there, bought the Lina magazine there, and so I am knitting on that when I'm in her shop because I like doing that. So this is the back. This was so much fun. It turned out to be so much more fun than I thought it would be. And then it's a cardigan, and this is the front. Depending on the yarn, how much yarn I have, it will be 3/4 sleeves, but it will be longer than the pattern. But again, this is Amber by Cheryl Makhtari from the Lina magazine. And I'm just loving that, knitting on that. So I want to be knitting on all the things. But I have placed this in, like Amber, you can knit on it at Fiber Universe, or when you get to number 5, you can knit on it, at home. I have number 6. I did not bring it down because I didn't want to talk about it yet, but it's one that's a whip that is in progress for sure. But I want to have it done as well. And I will say, for the most part, all of these projects that I'm showing you so far, I would like to have done, all of the ones I'm showing you so far, I'd like to have done by, say, the end of the month or mid-July at the latest. I would like to get them off of my list. Next one up is Stormy Waters. I wanted to share that. This is part of one of the other knit-alongs that we're doing for the Makers Meetup. It is something in your teals, turquoise, aquas, and I am working on Stormy Waters Shawl by Life is Cozy. This is one that was at Wool & Co. last year that I bought the yarn for. And it just required 2 skeins of the Fingering Shawl Ball by Freya Hand Paints. And so that is the yarn. This is the second yarn. They're both the same, but when I bought them, they were wound differently. And so this is what I am working towards, is the dark, which is what is actually on the outside of this. So just the reverse. And since last we met, I have made a little and this is another one of those that you're knitting on, and I can't wait to see when that new color shows up. It takes a while for sure, but I have entered into the land of the lighter colors. So this so reminds me of Florida and the beach and the water that I so love. I probably have talked about it before. I'm sure I have, but as a child, we spent all those up on the water in Minnesota. I love that. I always thought that I would have a house, a little cabin up in Minnesota as a fun place to get away to. And then I would be in Illinois for other times, and then, maybe go to Florida or Mexico and sit on the beach. But now I just go to the beach, but I'm hoping at some point in time to get back up to that space again, because of fond memories in Minnesota. But again, I love the beach. So that is Stormy Waters. That is number 7 on my list. And then finally on my list is number 8, which is a new cast on. Interestingly enough, this one I am so excited about. And that's partially why I also made this list, because I want to work through those others, but I'm dying to work on this one. And this is Sylven by Natasha Hornby. I have talked about it before. I showed you my swatch. And the yarn that I am using is Rowan Cotton Glacé, another one that I've never used before, in that lovely teal. There we go. That's showing blue. It's much more green, for sure. But I cast it on as one does, because I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. And I got the back going, and I have to work a little bit further on it. But I'm trying hard not to, but I so want to. And it has another one of those constructions that I love, that you do the back first. And so this is the back. And so all the laces at the bottom, right? That's more like the color. And so it has this lovely thing. But this is the back, and it is done in the round. So it will be joined at some point in time. And so I'm looking forward to that. But right now I'm just working the armhole down to it, and then I'll follow the directions. So don't be surprised if this one, there are times I am trying to stay with this list, but there are times when you just have to divert from it, right? You just can't. And so that's kind of a thought list. And in that whole thing, I have one other in the mix. So if this makes sense, I kind of divide these into, this is the things I want to accomplish, but at the same time, right? We know what that's like in a knitting pattern. So I would say the Musselburgh is first and foremost, but that one really is to be done, on Zooms, when I just had easy knitting, the half and half, out on the front porch, definitely project. Amber when I go to Fiber Universe, and then kind of sort of put it away. With that to say, also, I have committed myself to a blanket for my great nephew who is graduated from high school and is going to St. Jonathan's. He's going to be a Johnny, that's what I hear, in Minnesota. And so with some help, I scoped out their colorways, and I wanted to make him a blanket. I showed you a couple of podcasts earlier of one that I was doing for it. As I was knitting along, a couple of things happened. I realized that this was going to take me forever. I realized that I really didn't like knitting this big of a blanket. It's a perfect baby blanket. I realized that I really didn't want to keep the black and the white in there. I think the black didn't need to be there. And so when I was talking to Kendra on the phone, the epiphany was, she was knitting Heavenly Heathers, which is my favorite go-to baby blanket for babies that I don't know. Well, let's put it that way, that aren't blood, that aren't my grandchildren. I love doing those for babies. I love doing that one for hospice. The Heavenly Heathers is what it is. I like knitting on that, and I thought, why not do him a Heavenly Heathers? And thank you, shout out to Kendra for saying, let's be honest, Penny, he's a college kid. Does he really need that, or care that all the time and trouble went into this, highly likely it will get tossed in the closet. I don't know. But anyway, so I converted and decided to do the Heavenly Heathers. Now I have a deadline, which is August 9th. And so what I also did is I sat down and I plotted out how long I wanted it to be, and that how much I had to accomplish every week to have it ready to block, kind of like the week before we have his party. And so I realized that I need to do 9 inches by every Saturday, starting this Saturday. And so that's what's on my list as well. So once I complete 9 inches, I can let it sit till the next week, or I can work more. So that's kind of like thrown into the mix, like on the side. You must, by Saturday night, have at least the 9 inches done. So anyway, to show you the pattern, it's called Heavenly Heathers. And it is out of the 60 Quick Baby Blankets book that I've had forever, and have knit multiples out of this. I love the marling in it. And so it is under 60 Quick Baby Blankets, as I said. So that one is in the mix, and I'm just going to share where I am, just to keep everything honest, right? To keep me honest, oh my gosh, falling off the things. I need to put some stitch markers in there. And as you can see, I stopped in the middle of a row, and the reason I stopped is this is on a size 11, and my hands do not care for long, prolonged size 11 needles. But here is the first one in red and blue, and Johnny's color are actually just a little bit lighter blue than this, but I'm going with what I've got, and I'm going to do some inches in that, and then I will go from there. So, okay. As it is on Monday, we're hearing some background noise, but anyway, that's going to be a 9-inch thing that I'm going to do every Saturday, and hopefully I will have that all done and put to bed by then. So, all right, let's look at our list here. Oh, couple of things we want to talk about from the summer sweater vault. I want to share with you what I am wearing. This is the Yume by Isabel Kramer. I have made 2 of these. My first one was long sleeve. This one is almost elbow length. And I have knit both of mine out of Remix Light. And I just want to talk about this yarn a little bit because we had a discussion last Tuesday on James's Dude Knits' Zoom that a lot of people are not liking the Remix Light. I love it. I love knitting with it. I'll tell you, I love wearing it. The texture of it when it was knit up was not what I expected. To me, it feels soft and comfortable to wear. I really do like this. And the thing I liked about it, whichever you decide, if you decide to knit it, is you can do it in long sleeve, you can do it on short sleeve, but it has just a little bit of texture, and then you're done. And I just love it. And I lengthened mine from hers, lengthened the sleeves, and again, all the notes are on my project page, so feel free to check that out. So this is one of them from my summer sweater vault that I wanted to share with you. And then finally, one of that I'm going to share with you is Look at My Holes by James and Watts. One would never have thought that I would knit this, but the ladies from 3-Ply Podcast 2 meetups ago all had knit this, and it was like afterwards, I'm like, I have to knit that. And I had yarn out of PYS to do. This is James and Watts. And the thing about this pattern is I want to say to you also, he has a new pattern that just came out not too long ago, which is called Look at My Holes Boxy. Check that one out. I think, and I'm not going to say I don't. I do occasionally, Yume, ranunculus, knit a sweater more than once, depending on the yarn that I want to knit or the style I'm going for. But this one I might think about knitting again. I think this would be a perfect swimsuit cover-up for the beach next destined period next year. So check that out. It's a boxy version. I wouldn't even mind making this one again in a longer version. I knit mine out of Sunseeker. Again, this was a yarn that was in PYS, and I knit it specifically so that I could wear over this pink dress that I have. So I'm just going to share that over the pink. I made mine longer than his, of course, lengthened the sleeves a little bit. This has a little sparkle to it, and it's Cascade Sunseeker cotton. So a Pima cotton would work really well. I think Ultra Pima cotton from them. But I think I wouldn't mind knitting another one of these. I can't believe I'm saying that. To wear over a swimsuit. That's really where I would be going with it, and make it long. Almost for me, almost to the knees, kind of dress length. Just because I think that would be fun, something fun to knit. Had to pay attention to what I was knitting. This is not one that could be knit, just anywhere, but I really like this one. So I wanted to share these 2 out of my summer sweater vault because I had shown them and talked about them. I'm trying really hard not to, if in the last year, if I've worn it and talked about it, I'm trying not to duplicate the effort here because I want to give you some ideas for, things that are maybe that you haven't seen before. So, So that is kind of the summer sweater vault. Mail call, I have ordered some things, but they're gifts, so I cannot show them to you. I hope that they will show them down the road. I've been I have 3 summer birthdays for friends that I buy stuff for knitting related, and I've been on a roll buying cool things for their gifts. So each month there's a birthday coming up. Yeah. Each month there's a birthday coming up this summer. But the one thing I did get, I tagged onto my order, this was from the Grocery Girls, is these flower stitch markers. I could not resist getting those. So that is one of the things that is in mail call. Okay. And then finally, I want to share while we're kicking off summer, because we're going long. I apologize, but I wanted to share something with you. This in 2010 and 2011, a friend of mine who is a librarian, Jo, was a librarian, she's retired now, reached out to our little knitting group and told us about an exhibit that the Smithsonian was going to have, and then it was going to make rounds. And I think there was a lot of these things cropping up. But really what it was a coral reef that they duplicated in the Smithsonian's Natural Museum, pardon me, Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. And I am happy to report that I knit. There was crocheted, there was knitting. It was huge. And you can still go online and Google it. And I encourage you to go out there. You can't tell which one's mine, but I encourage you to go out and check that out from 2010, 2011, because it's massive. A coral wreath, massive, I'm saying, really massive. Coral reef of knitters and crocheters that sent things in. And at the time, my friend Jo, her friend out there who was kind of involved in it a little bit, sent us pictures later on of where our coral reef pieces were, which was so much fun. So I was into that whole coral reef thing. Well, then I believe it was the following year at knitting camp, we always did a contest. Excuse me. At this time, I can't even remember what the contest was. But what I wanted to do was duplicate some of that coral reefness, because I'm a knitter. I love the beach and one thing and another. And I'd already been a part of 1,000 people who had donated to the coral reef. So I wanted to duplicate that for my knitting camp entry. Now, what I have to just preface, my friend Norma gave me this some time ago, and so this was part of it. And it's hard to show you all together, but here it is. This is the lovely little lady sitting there in her beach chair. She actually is in her bikini. She needs she needs dusting off. But anyway, let me get this close. Anyway, in a little chair from Gulf Shores, and she's got her glasses on. I just think that is so cute, and her yarn wrapped around her. So as part of the contest, I had my little lady in her chair, and then I had a yarn hanging from her feet, and then I had the yarn in this, what I'm going to show you next. And this is probably at least 15 years old, but I put it away. I found some fabric that looked like water, and I knit some more coral wreath, found some little stickers and some sand and some shells, and a friend gave me a little crab to put in there. And I'm just going to bring it close and stop talking now. And I don't leave it out when the grandkids are here, so I'm going to put it away. But after that happens, then I'll bring it back out. But this was my coral reef, my knitting camp entry, and I just loved it. I wanted to share that with you because I think that is so fun and very much in keeping with kicking off summer. So that is all that I have for you. Thank you for staying with me this whole time, and I do appreciate it. Welcome again. In a few days, the stuff will be down in the description box below. I'll show my more in depth my coral reef and all of that on my blog, which is www.pjknits.blogspot.com. There will be Instagram posts about it and all of that. So I just wanted to share that with you, and let's kick off some summer for sure. And I hope you're having a great summer, whatever you're doing. And until next time, bye.